Ever catch yourself, kind of zoning out and picturing the world of high finance? And I don't just mean the numbers themselves, but like the major players, the global impact, the idea of maybe, just maybe, outsmarting the market.
Well, today we're taking a deep dive into the world of investment analysts, those financial detectives who make those Wall Street dreams a reality. And to guide us, we've got RoleCatcher's, I guess you could call it a treasure trove, of insights.
Think AI-powered tools, a
Yeah.
massive vault of insider knowledge that works. But before we get into, the nitty-gritty of high-stakes decisions and those six-figure salaries, let's get real for a second.
What does an investment analyst actually do all day?
It's a bit like being a financial Sherlock Holmes, in a way.
Okay.
But instead of a magnifying glass, you've got your spreadsheets, algorithms, you know the deal.
Right.
You're analyzing company financials, dissecting market trends, everything from, say, political turmoil halfway across the world to the absolute newest tech innovation.
So you're not just like picking stocks, you're piecing together the future of finance one data point at a time.
That's a great way to put it, yeah.
What I find really fascinating is the global scope. How much does an investment analyst's work actually impact financial decisions on a global scale?
Oh, it's massive,
Really?
truly. Imagine, just picture yourself advising a fund manager
Yeah.
on where to invest not just thousands, but potentially millions, even billions of dollars.
Wow.
One day, you could be evaluating, I don't know, a tech startup in Silicon Valley. The next startup starter, you're analyzing the renewable energy potential of a developing nation. You're not just, predicting the future, you're actively shaping it.
That's incredible. And speaking of shaping things, let's talk about the work environment itself. When I think high finance, my mind instantly goes to bustling offices, late nights, and frankly, enough stress to make even the calmest person sweat a little. Am I far off?
You're in the right ballpark for sure.
Right.
The work environment for an investment analyst is without a doubt fast-paced and demanding.
Yeah.
Long hours are, well, they're pretty much a given, especially when those deadlines are looming.
Right.
And the pressure is very real. Let's not sugarcoat it. You're talking about decisions with very, very real financial consequences. But here's the thing. RoleCatcher really emphasizes that this isn't just about individual brilliance. Collaboration is absolutely essential.
Okay.
You're working super closely with portfolio managers, you're interacting with other analysts, constantly learning from each other. It's a team effort, really.
So it's like a high-stakes team sport, but
I know.
instead of jerseys, you've got tailored suits and Bloomberg terminals.
Exactly. And technology is key here. You need to be totally comfortable with data analysis tools,
Hmm.
financial modeling software. It's like, as you said earlier, Wall Street meets Silicon Valley.
But all of this talk of stress and long hours, it leads us to the question that I'm sure is on everyone's mind, the perks.
Of course, of
Cool.
course.
Let's talk about the pros and cons, because let's be honest, nothing this exciting comes without its challenges, right?
Hit me with the good stuff first. We've talked about impact, excitement, shaping the future. What about the kind of compensation that makes you want to frame your first paycheck?
Let's put it this way. You won't find too many investment analysts out there complaining about their salaries.
Right.
The earning potential in this field is a major draw, and for good reason. You're dealing with large, and I mean large, sums of money, and those who excel, well, they are rewarded accordingly.
Okay, so that's definitely a point in the pro column.
Yeah.
But let's be real, what about the flip side? What are some of the sacrifices, the downsides that someone considering this career path should be prepared for?
Well, remember those long hours and high-pressure situations we talked about?
Yeah.
Those can take a toll. You are constantly under pressure to perform, to make the right call, to stay ahead of the curve. It's not a job for the faint of heart, and burnout is a very real concern, I have to say.
Burnout is definitely real in any high-pressure field, and it sounds like investment analysis is no exception. But for those who are up for the challenge, let's talk about how to actually break into this world. It's competitive out there.
What's the first step on the career ladder?
Well, a really solid educational foundation is non-negotiable.
Yeah.
You really got to have that. Think, a bachelor's degree in finance, economics, something in that realm.
Right, the classic finance resume builders for sure. But RoleCatcher kind of hints that to really stand out from the crowd, a lot of these aspiring analysts they're going above and beyond.
Oh, absolutely. A master's degree, certifications like that, CFA, Chartered Financial Analyst, those are getting more and more common,
Yeah.
It's almost like, think of it like having a driver's license versus being a certified race car driver.
Yeah.
You're signaling that deeper level of expertise.
So in a sea of finance folks, those extra credentials are like having that turbocharged engine on your resume. But let's be real, experience, I feel like that always trumps even the shiniest degree, right?
Mhm.
What about internships? How crucial are those for actually getting your foot in the door?
Internships, those are your financial boot camp, basically.
Right.
Practically essential in this field. RoleCatcher really, they highlight internships at financial institutions, asset management firms, research companies. Those are invaluable.
Yeah.
So where you get to apply those textbook theories to real-world market scenarios.
It's where you prove you can, like, actually handle the heat of the trading floor, not just ace a finance exam.
Exactly.
And speaking of proving yourself, I did notice RoleCatcher emphasizes, building a portfolio. But we're not talking about photography or design here, are we?
Not quite, no. Haha. For an aspiring investment analyst, a portfolio, it showcases your analytical abilities. So think, research reports, maybe a mock investment recommendation you put together, or even market analysis that you've done on your own time. This is actually where RoleCatcher's AI-powered tools can give you a real edge.
Oh, interesting.
It can actually help you tailor your portfolio to specific job descriptions, really making sure you're, putting your best financial foot forward.
It's like having a personal brand strategist, but for your finance career.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so we've got the education, the internships, this killer portfolio. But something tells me there's one more, secret ingredient in this success formula.
You're reading my mind networking.
Of course.
And I don't just mean, sending out LinkedIn requests like you're casting a fishing net, hoping for the best.
Right.
It's about actually building those genuine connections. Attend those industry events, think like real finance conferences, not just career fairs,
Yeah.
Join those professional organizations like the CFA Institute and get involved in online forums where other financial minds, they gather to discuss these things.
So it's about building those relationships, not just collecting business cards and hoping for the best.
Exactly.
Now let's fast forward a bit. You've aced it all. You've landed that coveted investment analyst role. Congrats. But obviously the journey doesn't stop there. What does career progression even look like in this field? Is it a clear climb, or is it more of a choose-your-own-adventure kind of path?
So RoleCatcher, they outline kind of a typical progression, usually starting as a junior analyst, then moving up to senior analyst, and then eventually, maybe even reaching that prestigious portfolio manager role.
Wow.
But it's not just about titles and, fancy corner offices.
Right. It's about the level of responsibility, the complexity of those projects that you're trusted with, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So how does an analyst really demonstrate that they're ready for that next rung on the ladder? What did that look like?
Well, continuous learning is key, honestly. The financial world is constantly changing, so you can never just rest on your laurels, even if you have amazing credentials and experience.
Keep pursuing those advanced degrees, keep getting those certifications, stay updated on all the industry trends, think regulatory changes, new financial instruments that pop up, and never, ever underestimate the power of a good mentor, someone you can really learn from.
So they say, right, on Wall Street, the learning never stops. But speaking of, kind of forging your own path, can you actually specialize in this field? Or is it more about being like a versatile jack of all trades?
That's where things get really interesting. RoleCatcher, they don't really dive into specific specializations, but I can tell you from my own experience, developing that deep expertise in a particular area, that can really be a game changer for your career.
Okay, so instead of just being like an investment analyst, you become the investment analyst for, say, I don't know, renewable energy. Or maybe fintech is more your thing.
Exactly. You could be the go-to expert for a whole sector, like healthcare, technology, or even something super niche, like, I don't know, sustainable agriculture.
Ah,
Or you could focus on a specific asset class that really speaks to you. Real estate, private equity, equities. The possibilities are kind of endless.
so you're not just riding the waves, you're like choosing your currents. That's a great way to think about it. But honestly, with so many possibilities, it can feel, I don't know, a little overwhelming, right? Like, where do you even begin? What advice would you give to someone listening who's probably, as we speak, picturing themselves, making headlines with some brilliant investment strategy?
Honestly, the best advice I can give is stay curious.
I like that.
Don't be afraid to explore all those different areas of finance. Talk to people who are doing what you think you might want to do. Really connect with professionals in those fields that just genuinely intrigue you.
Yeah.
And this is key. Identify what truly excites you, what really gets you fired up, because that passion, that genuine interest, it's a powerful engine for success, especially in a field as demanding as investment analysis.
That's great advice. Find that intersection of what you're passionate about and, what the market actually needs. And you've got a recipe for a pretty amazing career.
I think so.
Well, we've covered a ton of ground today, from like deciphering those complex financial statements to navigating the, let's be honest, sometimes intimidating world of networking, and even figuring out how to, really specialize and own your niche. It's been quite the deep dive.
It has.
So as we wrap up, what's the one key takeaway you hope our listeners walk away with today?
The world of investment analysis, it is tough. It's competitive. It's demanding. There's no doubt about it. But for those who are truly passionate about the world of finance, who thrive on those intellectual challenges, who have that, insatiable appetite for learning, it offers an incredibly rewarding career path. There's really nothing quite like it.
It's about so much more than just the numbers. It's about understanding those forces that are shaping the world around us and having a hand in shaping the future of finance. And for anyone listening who's ready to take that plunge, RoleCatcher, seriously, it's an invaluable resource.
Couldn't agree more.
Their AI-powered tools, those in-depth interview prep materials, their career guides, those can be your secret weapon as you navigate this exciting and, let's be real, always evolving world of finance. And on that note, I think it's time for us to sign off.
Sounds good.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of investment analysts. We'll catch you next time.